Your hometown station, WEBO, Bruno Mars, 8:16, 16 minutes after 8 o'clock with Dave and Lew. Let's take a look at your AccuWeather forecast.
Well, it's Tuesday morning, and it's not like yesterday. It's wet and wild out there this morning. Cloudy, some rain, and milder today with a high of 57 degrees. Tonight, clearing and colder, low 27, and Wednesday, a mix of clouds and sun with a high of 46. Like I said, the streets are wet. It's a gray morning, and the temperature is 48 degrees. Check back throughout the day for weather updates and breaking. I'm coming apart.
He's breaking up.
News.
He's breaking up. Here, hold on. Turn your microphone off. Give it a good clear. Give it a good. Go for it. Go for it. You good? Oh, there it is. You okay now?
I'm feeling better.
Nurse.
Call the doc. Call the
Nurse.
Botsy.
It is Dave and Lew on the WEBO morning show. It's a little froggy out there this morning.
That's what it is. It's froggy.
Yeah. Well, it is 8:18, 18 after 8 o'clock.
Dave.
And yes, sir.
I'd be counting on you to pick up.
You're counting on me, huh? Don't count on me. I am not good at math. That's how I ended up doing this job.
Yeah, well,
you know what I mean?
I got that. You can cross wires pretty good.
Sometimes they're even right. Joining us in the studio this morning, we'd like to say good morning to Rachel Bond from the Tioga County Rural Ministry. Good morning, Rachel.
Good morning.
And good morning to Elaine Jardine, who is now give me this again.
I am the chair of the Tioga County Complete Count Committee.
Complete Count Committee.
That's a positive statement right there. Complete count.
Complete count.
Count them all, Dave.
Right. That's right. Speaking of counting.
Such a big job, it doesn't even fit on the screen.
Complete count committee.
Yep.
It's a census year.
Yes.
Tell us about that, Elaine.
Yes. Well, speaking of counting, Dave, by the way, I'm not good at math either, but I do lead the Complete Count Committee for Tioga County. I was on your show back in October when we were sort of just beginning our effort, and now we are really on the front step of the 2020 census. So I did bring with me Rachel Bond. She's a committee member from Rural Ministry, and she helps us out with getting the word out to her clients, as well as the food pantries. And Rachel, how's been your experience been on the committee so far?
It's great. Good to work with other people in the community. Glad to be able to relay information to the other food pantries in the county. Hoping that everyone gets counted.
Are people receptive when you talk to them about it? Are they saying, "Oh yeah," or are they saying, "Oh no"?
So far, I haven't gotten any negativity.
They seem generally receptive to me.
Good.
So you're using all avenues possible then, Elaine, right, to get your reach out happening? I mean, you know, the census is not an easy job. It's not an easy job in a city, getting people to answer the door. And it's not an easy job in the country, honestly, finding all the houses. I mean, okay, it's one thing here, maybe in downtown Owego, but as you start getting up into Newark Valley and Berkshire and Richford, or the further outskirts of Tioga Center, or, you know, we've got some really rural areas, and the census is kind of tricky.
Yes, it is. It's the United States government largest peacetime operation.
Oh.
And it's definitely my largest operation every decennial, the beginning of each decade. So what I wanted to focus on right now, since we're so close to the census actually happening, is the response timeline now for folks out there in Tioga County to know when and how to respond to the census. Is that okay, Dave?
Absolutely. How does this go?
Okay, so actually beginning this week on Thursday, households should start getting the Census Bureau invitation in the mail to complete the census online or by phone. Most of Tioga County, the Census Bureau is encouraging most households in Tioga County to respond that way. So not a paper form in the beginning anymore. This is the first time the census is using digital data collection in their efforts.
So that's coming in a Dick and Jane format, like go to the system, punch,
Yes.
very simple?
Yes, it is. It'll just be a letter with a code and a URL address, which is my2020census.gov. And you go online and fill it out. It should only take about 10 minutes. There's only a few basic questions in the beginning, and then there's questions about each person in the household. So up to 10 people in the paper form, up to 99 people if you have 99 people in your home, which I know I don't. But
I might. I'm not sure anymore.
There are times when it seems like 99, Dave, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think so.
So we have all of March to respond that way. If a household hasn't responded by the end of March, they'll get a reminder postcard from the Census Bureau. And then April 1st is the traditional marker day. So if you're supposed to count yourself and anybody in your house where they're living and sleeping on April 1st. Or if you have a newborn baby, if the baby is born on or before April 1st, you're supposed to count them. I guess if they're born April 2nd, you're not supposed to count them in this decennial census, although they are there. So go ahead and count them. We need them in Tioga County. Don't tell the Census Bureau I said that.
Just block that part out.
Yeah, exactly. And then you'll have a couple more chances to respond to the census, and if you haven't responded by the middle of April, you will get a paper form, and then the census takers start coming out about middle of May to the houses that have not responded.
So the best way to do it is just respond.
Absolutely, Lou.
If you want to keep people out of your yard,
respond.
Fill out the census.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Yes.
So we were supposed to have flying cars by now, Lou. It's 2020.
Well,
we don't have the flying cars quite yet, but we have managed to get the census online.
That's right.
So look how far we've come, Lou.
So I'm going to ask the question because why?
I know, I get this a lot. Why? Well, there's a couple reasons. Number one is, of course, our federal representation, our House congressmen, our districts are set by the population count, and it's our representation in Washington. In New York State, we lost 2 House seats in 2010, and we're looking at losing another 2 in 2020. But the second reason is there's hundreds of billions of dollars, like $670 billion the federal government allocates to essential services from the census, like daycare, emergency services. Medicaid is by far the biggest benefactor of federal funding based on the census. Schools get lots of funding based on the census counts. Just about every community aspect you see or know somebody who is being touched by has funding from the federal census.
So all these numbers that are collected on this census, when does that stuff take?
How long does it take?
How long does it take to have that happen?
Yeah, so,
no, I mean when you talk, you get your totals and you say, okay, now they're going to rearrange the number of representatives and the funding right away, or do we have to wait 10 years to have that?
No,
happen?
it's not 10 years, but so the counting is done at the end of July, and then the Census Bureau does all that number crunching, which Dave and I would not be good at, and then they have the report on the total population count to the president by the end of December, and then I guess the Census Bureau, I'm not exactly who does this, but they get the reapportionment numbers and districts ready for reapportionment by spring 2021.
Okay. So now the next question is, we've got a very rural county. We get to see a lot of people. We get to talk to a lot of people. The airwaves, the radio, television, and media of all sorts gets the information out there. People like Rachel, who work at with Rural Ministry, are reaching another whole segment of people. There's going to be some people out there that we miss.
Yes.
And that's where the census takers go out and hunt the hills. And
yes, that starts
last
about
known
middle
address,
May.
You go out there and try to find somebody.
Yes, that's about middle May. And still, we don't get everybody. In 2010, Tioga County had a total response rate of 83%, which was pretty high, believe it or not. I think it was the highest percentage rate in New York State. So we are trying to beat that this year, but that was a pretty high bar to set.
So we could we could set up a kiosk at the grocery store and do a census there, a paper census.
Well, the census is really discouraging paper forms because it's
well, in the end, when you're trying to round up all the missing people.
Yes.
Everybody goes to the store once in a while, or to a food pantry, or to whatever.
Yes, what the Census Bureau is doing this time is having people that are not the regular enumerators go to events with an iPad and helping people fill out. Yeah, they're called, it's called the Mobile Questionnaire Assistance something or other. So
2020, Lou.
They'll come in like the Tin Man.
We got tablets now.
Lights and stuff blinking all off and saying, I am your census guy.
Have you taken the census?
So that's how they're going to try to get stragglers this time around.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And
so this all starts when? When do they pull the trigger on this?
Thursday.
This Thursday.
Thursday. Some households in Tioga County should be getting that invitation letter in their mailbox.
As soon as you get that, you can do it.
Yes.
Now,
yes, you can.
When you get the invitation letter, maybe you said this already, and I just want to make sure that we cover it. Is there a code in there that you need to fill out the census? You can't just go to the census website and say, hey, I'm Dave.
Yeah. Well,
you got to put a code in so that they know that you...
Yes, you do get a code, but there's also an option if you don't have a code. Right under that, there's if you don't have a census ID, click here. And that's important because snowbirds, and I have trouble thinking of other population that this would apply to, but if you know your parents or your parents know people that are down in the southern U.S. to avoid the winter up here, they can click that I do not have a census ID if they want to be counted at their Tioga County address.
What happens to people in nursing homes?
They get counted by a separate process called group quarters, and census enumerators go out to those group quarters, jails, nursing homes.
So I live in Owego, but I've got a winter home in Florida. Where do I claim my residence?
Yeah. Well, it really is supposed to be where you live and sleep most of the year. So if you're down in Florida, even for 5 months of the year, and you're up here for 7, you should really be using the Tioga County address. And we need every address we can in Tioga County. So please spread that word if you can. Just click, you don't have a census ID, and it will allow you into this other part where you can put your Tioga County address in.
Okay.
And then they'll figure it out later.
Yeah. Exactly. And college students are another issue because they're supposed to be counted where they are on April 1st, live and sleep, which means they're supposed to be counted at college.
How about the military?
The military is done by a completely separate process, and they have different scenarios about if they're overseas in a base or here in boot camp. There's all different kinds of
They used to have a term called home of record. Is where's your home? Mm-hmm. I mean, I might be in Kansas, but my home is in Owego, New York.
Right. Yes.
So, because I can remember getting absentee ballots for Tioga County and Owego stuff when I was in the service.
Yes. If they're home at boot camp or something, they do use their home address. The Census Bureau does. The census staff does all that for the military.
So what you're saying is it's complicated.
Yes. Oh, sure is. Yes, it is. Yeah. And to further complicate it, we have Amish families that we haven't had before that have come in since the last decade. So the Census Bureau has a special process for them called Update Leave or Update Enumerate, where they will actually visit their homes. I don't think they'll get anything in the mail, though they will get a census taker visit.
Interesting. This is quite the process. This is why we only do it every 10 years.
That's right.
Because it takes 9 years to figure out how we're going to do it next time.
Yes.
And I believe every minute of that.
Yes.
Yes, what changes can we make? I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, anything else you'd like to mention while you're here, Elaine?
Just we're hoping we keep our population above 50,000 in Tioga County. Not that it's, a significant drop in funding or anything, but just for the morale, let's keep it above 50,000, Tioga County.
Sounds good. So we're going to do the
so
census.
That means the dogs don't count, Dave.
That's right. No cows, no dogs. Sorry.
Okay.
Maybe one or two.
Yeah.
Maybe one or two. We'll see. So, all right. So this Thursday, they're going to start hitting mailboxes. Yes. And when are they due by?
The very last date somebody can self-respond is July 31st. But get it in there as soon as possible, and then you will not get a U.S. government staff knocking on your door.
Early and often.
A person with a badge on their, the lanyard scares the death out of you because you think it's the feds coming to get you.
Right.
That's what we want to avoid.
It kind of is.
It is kind of.
It kind of is.
We're coming to count you.
Yeah.
All right. And the website.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Dave. The website is my2020census.gov. And also, please like us on Facebook at Tioga Counts 2020. You'll get a lot more information on the Facebook page.
Awesome. And we'll have you back for an update.
All right. Yes, I will let you know if we beat our 83% and stayed above 50,000.
We want 50,000.
That's right.
Plus.
Can we get one of those temperature things with the red marker?
Yeah.
That would be neat.
Like Courthouse Square. We can every day Elaine can go out and be like, we're getting there.
That's right. Every 1,000. Mark every 1,000. And I will be monitoring the Census Bureau site for response rates. So.
Cool. All right. Well, Elaine Jardine, what is the title again?
Chair of the Tioga County Complete Count Committee.
Tioga County Complete
Count Committee.
Chair.
Yes.
Got it. All right. Well, Elaine, thank you for coming in this morning. Rachel Bond from Tioga County Rural Ministry, thank you for coming in this morning.
My pleasure.
Aren't you glad you don't have to do any of the math?
Yeah.
Right?
I like math.
Oh, well.
I can help Elaine with the math.
Yes.
You just volunteered yourself. You're in. Well, thank you both, ladies, for coming in this morning. Appreciate having you here and filling us in on the U.S. Census. It's 2020 and time to get counted.
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
Have a great day. Thank you. It is 8:33. Time for news with Michael Baldwin on your hometown station, WEBO.